Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kamfinsa.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to thank the chair for the committee and the committee itself for providing us with a lot of detail on the work that they did regarding child care facilities. However, Madam Speaker, I note from the report that the report has not interrogated a very important aspect to the issue of why we have child care facilities in the first place. It is important that even as we look at the recommendations that have been provided, we perhaps need to reflect, why do we have child care facilities in Zambia? At what stage did we suddenly have facilities that have to care for children who are either homeless or have been abandoned by respective guardians? So, Madam Speaker, my first observation regarding legislation, do we have adequate legislation to deal with the problem at hand? I think that adequately from the report that has been given, we appear to have sufficient legislation to deal with the problem at hand. Secondly, do we have adequate policy frameworks to deal with the problem? Again, fairly, it looks like we have policies that have been put in place. Thirdly, which brings me to my contribution, Madam Speaker, it is on the issue of funding to these child care facilities. I know from the report, the recommendation says we need to upscale funding, and the committee actually gives us figures of how much was provided in 2019, 2020, and late last year. However, I'm concerned on page 9, Madam Speaker, reference is made to a recommendation that we must use the social cash transfer to support families. Madam Speaker, I'll give a scenario. We tried this option in Kitwe, where we got the business community to support some of these child care facilities. Mattresses were procured, beds were provided, food was donated. Madam Speaker, it only took a month or two. The children that were being cared for decided to go back to their respective homes where they have guardians. Most of these children that are provided for in terms of care, Madam Speaker, actually do have homes where they are coming from. So out of that experience, my own personal submission to the committee and through you, Madam Speaker, is that we need to provide serious economic activities to be undertaken by the families where these children are coming from. And I tend to agree with the school of thought that we need to create a different fund, not the social cash transfer fund, because if you look at the amount of money that is allocated towards social cash transfer, close to 400 kwacha every 2 months, it may not be adequate to support those families where these children are coming from. No matter how much funding we put into these child care facilities, Madam Speaker, for as long as the homes where these children are coming from, for as long as the guardians who are supposed to care for these children do not have any economic activities that they are undertaking, Madam Speaker, even the purpose for which these child care facilities are being created will not be achieved. So I want to recommend, further to what has been identified in the report, that a special fund be created to support those families that have been identified. Because, Madam Speaker, there is no child who doesn't have a guardian or a parent or a relative. What we must do as a country, Madam Speaker, is to allocate resources. It may be in the 2023 national budget, it may be in the supplementary budget, but clearly the families that are looking after these children that are going to child care facilities need to be provided with resources. And I do not agree that the social cash transfer provides that solution. So I wish to recommend, as I support this motion, that further to the proposals that have been identified, we create a special fund, Madam Speaker, that will allow for parents that care for these children to be supported economically. We are discussing a socio-economic issue, and I believe funding should not just be restricted to the child care facilities, but funding should be provided to families so that we do not have children going back to respective places. I thank you, Madam Speaker.